Quick question. Aliens come to Earth. They challenge you to a game of chess. You have to save humanity. You have to win. They give you the white pieces. What opening do you play?
Hey, the white rat opening is making my opponents go crazy. I'm talking about this stable way of handling the Sicilian defense, as if you want to play the king's Indian attack. But nope, you just want to play knight d2, so that if pawn takes, you take back like that, stabilizing the position. If knight c6, you go knight f3, bishop c4, or even better bishop b5, because it attacks something. Pinning a knight to the king is always good. If bishop d7, by the way, you just go knight g3, nothing much. s6, you can take if you want. If you play bishop c4, maybe black is going to play b5, and you don't have a sacrifice, by the way. So in these kinds of positions, you can just take pap and then play something like queen e2, castle short, just stable chess. By the way, in my first tutorial video on the white rat opening, I said after knight c6, always think of playing c3. But those are the ABCs. If you know what you're doing, you can still play other moves like bishop b5, like I said. So pawn to c3 just kind of stops knight d4 or knight b4 in the near future. And then you continue doing your things, bishop e2, queen c2, castle short, all the highlighted moves. How do you develop your dark squared bishop? Put your king's rook on e1 after castling short, and then relocate that knight to the king side as highlighted, and there you go, done. Now it is time to demonstrate these ideas in a live match on Lichess. Don't go away and make sure to subscribe. Yeah, so I am playing against a 2436 rated opponent, and there we see the Sicilian defense. So it is time to go pawn to d3. I just want to play my... There we see something else. What did I say you should do against this knight c6 line? Or maybe now I can switch and go back to my white rat opening repertoire with knight d2. But let me add one improvement in this position. Instead of playing f4, kind of the Grand Prix setup, how about starting with bishop g5 first? Nothing wrong with bishop g5 if you think about it. Just looks like the Tromposky. Point is, if pawn to d5 again, I'll just play knight d2. So this is just a twist, a little twist or an update that I'm adding to my white rat opening prep that I published like 2 days ago. You guys need to watch that. I was expecting to see h6, but anyway, let me just continue with my rat opening. Bishop g7, pawn to c3. Yep. c3 also stops knight d4 and knight b4 in some lines. In fact, I was supposed to play pawn to c3 the moment black played knight c6, or immediately after black played knight c6. Finally, there we see pawn to d5, but I don't care about this because my knight is doing a better job. So let's do that. If h6, maybe I'll just put my dark squared bishop on g3. How about that? So I call this risk-free chess, and the best way to counter people that you don't know or opponents that you're not sure of. Now it is time to play h3 anyway, just stopping bishop g4. I forgot to mention that this is a 3+2 casual match, not a rated match, and this is why you see that my rating doesn't improve. I rarely play rated games when I'm doing these streams. That's not an excuse, by the way. So bishop e2, pawn to e5. Now I can play either queen b3 or just sticking to my plan, queen c2. The queen on c2 indirectly defends the pawn on e4. Please forgive my dogs that are backing outside. Now I can just castle short, putting my king to safety. Maybe this time if pawn to h6, I might even consider taking on f6. Why not? Because I have no use for that bishop. At times you just don't want to be keeping a lot of pieces on the board. I sense something evil here. Bishop e6. How about I take and position? Yes. Instead of sticking to my plan. Wait a second. Since I have completed my development successfully without facing any unnecessary traps, now I'm at liberty to do whatever I want to do, to go a little bit out of theory. So I can take on d5. If bishop takes, I intend to position my... Oh. My opponent took back with the queen, but still I intend to position my knight here. Point is, if knight takes, I take back with my d pawn. Yes. And still, I have an e pawn or a pawn on e4. Rook f d1 makes a lot of sense, just attacking that queen. Guys, this is very easy to play if you think about it. Now I don't know what to do next, so let me just start looking for my opponent's weaknesses or pieces that are not protected, such as this pawn. I expect to see b6, and that'll be another weakness. Well, there we see knight a5. What other thing can I attack here? Maybe let me attack the light squared bishop. This is what we do, you guys, especially in the middle game. If you get stuck, just think of oversimplifying, look for weak squares, weak pieces. I'm low on time, I need to be very fast. Luckily there's increment. So knight back to f3. I want to play c4. Sorry guys, let me concentrate. I'll do less of commentary now. I don't want to lose on time like what happens most of the times to me. So I can advance my pawn, my rook. Why not? "11 seconds. So let's put this other rook. Need to do less of commentary now. How do I offer a draw? I don't want to lose on time. It'll be so unfair. Takes. Let's take. No. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that. I want to attack the bishop. Let's go for beam. Let's do this. Trade queens. Yes, this is not a good ending. Let's attack this other pawn indirectly. Advance the king. Separate the goats from the sheep. I think I have misplayed my opening. I don't know if I'm going to manage going on to this. How do I stop all these pawns? Check. I have a pass pawn now. Let's go. Ah, no. Ah, damn it. I just lost a pawn due to my carelessness. Let's do this. This is bad. Very bad. Very bad play. Ah. Can I get a stalemate? Somehow. Rematch. This time I hope to kill my opponent. Let's go with the rat defense once again. Hopefully we'll see e4. Yep. So knight d7. I want to go e5 now. I can still play pawn to e5, I guess. Oh, knight c3 goes together with pawn to c6. But anyway. So I lost my first game. It's not much of a stretch. It happens all the time. So now c6 to stop knight d5 and knight b5. I lost my first game. I think let me go bishop e7 here, the Paris move. That's what I call this move. Bishop g2, knight f6. Castle short. Think castle short as well, putting my king to safety. This is how you play against most solid opponents. Let me just start expanding on the queen side. Why not? b5, a5, b4. So again, I'm playing against the same person. Hopefully this time I will redeem myself. Let's hope I will win. Rook e8. I intend to play queen c7 and maybe relocate my knight to this other side of the board. There we see knight h5. So I can go queen c7. I intend to do this, by the way. But I see the move knight f5 coming. Yeah, knight f5, maybe let me save my bishop. It's more valuable than that knight. I mean my dark squad bishop. It's very easy for me to get rid of that knight, by the way. Just go knight b6, check. Let's see what my opponent is going to do now. h3. We go h6, just a prophylactic move, stopping bishop g5 in some lines. g4, knight b6, as I said. Maybe I might even consider getting rid of that knight, taking that knight. Pawn to b3, just as I promised. We do that. gf. Now that my development is complete, or my opening stage is complete, I can start doing whatever I want, opening up the position. That's what you always want to do. Don't just continue playing a passive game, a closed game. That's not how chess works. With queen takes d5, I'm threatening to take the knight on c3, so white doesn't need to do this. By the way, if pawn takes, I can even change my plan. There we see pawn to f4, but my opponent just tanked a knight. This is how confusing the rat defense can be, even against higher rated players. For the sake of respect, please resign, yes. Rematch. I need to kill this guy with my white rat opening. Redeeming myself. Again, pawn to d3. Then I said, whenever you see knight c6, just go pawn to c3. This is what I did not do in my first game. In the first game. Obviously, this looks boring to some, but you see, it's worth it. So in the first game, I broke my rules. I played bishop g5, which was unnecessary and just too early. But this time, I've done the needful. I've just followed my plan. Here, I can even take if I want. This is something that I've discovered I can do, but sticking to my plan, let's just go knight gf3. Point is if de, I'll just take back. So there we see pawn to e5. Now bishop e2, queen c2, and castle short. Or sometimes before castling short, just relocate your queen's knight to the king side like that. So you can see my opponent is also playing solid chess. So right here, I have to play queen c2 before relocating my knight to g3. Remember that the knight on d2 was the only piece defending my e-pawn convincingly. There we see bishop e6. So now queen c2 is adding more support to the e4 pawn, so I can safely relocate my knight to the king side. Okay. Time is ticking. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. g6. Knight g3. You always want to do this against opponents that you ain't sure of. This is what Magnus Carlsen said in one of the interviews. In one of his interviews. The question was, what opening would you play against an alien? And Magnus responded, I think he said something in the lines of the Zukertort opening or the Reti or the English, something like that.
Quick question. Aliens come to Earth. They challenge you to a game of chess. You have to save humanity. You have to win. They give you the white pieces. What opening do you play?
In such a case, I'd probably play an opening like one knight f3 or the English or some opening like that. Just I wouldn't want to stake it on a theory battle, an open battle at first. I would probably want to keep a lot of pieces on the board and try to outsmart them eventually. Besides, I mean, if I make a couple of quiet moves at the start, I will probably be able to tell whether the aliens are any good at chess or not.
What you want is to keep as many pieces as possible on the board. So you always want to play slow chess. Keep as many pieces as possible on the board, especially in the opening stage against players or opponents that you don't really know. It helps. h3 is very deceiving. Looks like black can sack, but nope, that'll be a blunder. By the way, I intend to put my king on h2 with this move. My opponent just played g5. Okay, now development is done. I can do whatever I want. First play pawn to a3 because now I just want to open the position. So this is what you want to do. Once your opening is complete, you can start opening up the position by doing what I'm doing. Play a3 and do something on the center. Especially taking on d4 is okay, like this. That's how you open up the position. I played pawn to a3 on the previous move to prevent knight b4. I don't want to have heart attack due to a knight attack. Pawn takes, and what else? I don't know what to do. I want to maybe let me position one of my knights here. Probably the h knight. Should sit on f5. Once again, this is a very good example of stable and slow chess. Let me go knight gf5. By the way, if bishop takes, I'll just take back. That's why I've pre-moved. I technically lost on time in my previous game. G4, king b8. That. Let's go for the Q. We get rid of the bishop. If queen takes, bishop b4. Attacking everything. And how about this move? I might play b6 next. So white's knight is under attack now. Maybe knight g6, but I'll just take... Yeah, I can just do this. If pawn takes, now b6 looks strong in my eyes. Then I just take back. Maybe I'll do this. Give a check. Evolve my rook. This time I'm not going to lose on time. Ah, I didn't see this. Let's attack. Oh, what else? Let's attack. Always find something to attack. Bishop defense, but... Oh, wait a second. What is this knight doing in my territory? Find something to attack. And rook up. Right. I just won my second game against the guy who defeated me in the first game. Anyway, so now you have an idea how you can play against people that you don't know with the white rat opening. And these are openings that you want to play even against aliens or entities that you aren't sure of. By the way, there was nothing much black was going to do here. I had check and this other move, technically checkmate, due to the presence of my bishop on d6. That's why my opponent didn't make a move at last. In fact, if I wanted, I was going to start with rook b1, then followed by this. So it was very difficult for them to make a move. Also, I had bishop takes and bishop takes. Anyway, by the way, you can check out my courses at www.KaspaChess.com or on my Patreon page. That's how you support this channel. By the way, I don't ask for donations or free money. So the way you support this channel is by joining one of our membership tiers on Patreon or simply buying my courses. That really helps.